Alright, bear with me here. I think we're getting a new game. So it's been a super weird week for Stellaris. I'm not even kidding how strange it's been. Out of nowhere, patch 2.4 gets dropped, Lee, which adds the new mod launcher, and apparently didn't go over too well initially, and it got hotfixed relatively quickly, but all of a sudden, all of this stuff's going on my screen, and I can actually, do mod stuff, and apparently this all came in from the Imperator game, where they tried all this stuff out. But hey, I guess I can manage my mods now, so that is cool. By the way, where are my robot unicorns? Paradox. You made promises. Anyway, yeah, and then all of a sudden, a tweet went out about Stellaris, how it has not one, but two booths on the PDXCon floor, which I thought was rather curious initially. It's like, oh yeah, they'll have one for console edition, I guess. The games are so far apart from each other, they may as well. But then they're like, no, it's not for console edition. All right, well that's fair enough. So what is it for? And then all of a sudden, this little bomb gets dropped. A little picture from the Paradox Twitter account with 3 images in it. One of them is a giant structure that would not be out of place outside of 40k. And the theory on that one is that it is the diplomatic station, the Space UN that the developers have been talking about for such a long time. My god, even back like in the early Onward games, I think they were talking about that bad boy. And it may actually be happening in a diplomacy expansion. And if you look at the downloadable content page on the wiki, we're due for another expansion. It's been a while. We've had a lot of story packs recently. Oh boy. Well, let's see what else we have. Then we got the weird space legs in the middle. Now, for those of you who play EVE Online, like myself, space legs are always a bad sign. But it looks like concept art, so it could just be part of a trailer. So who knows? It does seem to be on par with the kind of quality that we would get from the Paradox trailers these days, because they're relatively high quality. However, this is where we get our tinfoil hats on, and I may be crazy, but I think we're getting another Stellaris game. Why do I think we're going to get another Stellaris game? Well, first of all, one of the biz devs over at PDX is a big fan of the TIE Fighter games, and he's been, for ages, screaming his head off, saying, "Dear lords, give me another TIE Fighter game." And obviously, it's part of Disney now, at least LucasArts, and the entire Star Wars lineup. All the games are being made by Electronic Arts, which ironically are in the same building as Paradox these days, or apparently are going to be, because it looks like they're moving offices yet again. But then there's that image on the right. And that image on the right tickles me in weird ways, and I can't quite pinpoint it. And I think Paradox is looking to turn Stellaris into a franchise. Now, why am I thinking that Stellaris is going to be a franchise? All right, so first of all, they announced that they're going to be doing a sequel, or at least a parallel game to Surviving Mars, which is we've only seen a teaser. It's apparently surviving after the end, or something along those lines. I can't put my finger on it right now, but yeah. And this kind of implies that PDX is not too afraid of starting franchises once more. Now, obviously, there's been the TT Combat tabletop game, or at least the miniatures Kickstarter that was licensed out recently, and they're alluding that there's going to be a tabletop game there as well, which is kind of cool. And yes, I did spend way too much money on that. But with this picture on the right side, considering it kind of sort of looks like a UI, this could be the first screenshot of a new game. Now, on the other hand, the picture on the left side of what I was alluding to earlier on is a Space UN, or could be the Space UN, is a little bit too detailed for something that is in the base game, or at least in Stellaris in general. Plus, in combination with the art of the legs, I am inclined that there is going to be a space fighter game based on Stellaris. Now, the devs have been working on expanding the quote-unquote base lore of the game for a long time now, ever since with the UNE, the Commonwealth of Man, the Vor Technocracy, the Worm, etc., etc. So when it comes to the palette of storytelling in Stellaris, there is a vast amount of material available for them to work off of that could be put into a game. Also, some people are saying it could be a mobile title, and I hope that those are, well...
Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
So yeah, weird stuff is afoot. So for those of you guys that have not been playing Stellaris recently, update your game, check out the new launcher, because there's a lot of cool stuff over there, and you can now see the thumbnails of anything that is in your mods, which I guess is cool. Look at that. Animated robot unicorns. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, yes, the ASpec announcer mod. Oh, Homeworld Conquest. And the little triangle implying that none of it works because of the game version. My god, I even have a 1.9 game version mod on here that I should really uninstall because it's not been updated since friggin' forever. But yeah, regardless, we're gonna go wrap this one up here. It's like I mentioned, it's been a weird week for Stellaris, and I'm kind of curious what happens. I'll be at PDXCon myself next week to shed some light on what on earth is going on over there in Stockholm, and also I'll be participating in a multiplayer match on the Arc of Ascension. I'll actually be hosting it, so how about that one? Yeah, you'll see my face on air. You haven't seen my face since YouTube Wars. Oh, yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you keep an eye on the channel. Subscribe and whatnot. Liking helps as well. To see what's coming out of PDXCon next week, because I think that exciting times are ahead of us. 2 booths. #SaveAlberta. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and, as always, each other.